Between Beth and Rip's spinoff and CBS Kayce series, Yellowstone Season 6 is basically happening. The Yellowstone franchise couldn't continue with a proper Season 6 after Kevin Costner's exit. But between Beth, Kelly Riley, and Rip's Cole Hauser, Yellowstone spinoff, and Kayce Dutton's Luke Grimes' newly announced CBS series, the story will continue. Costner was the soul of the landmark show as John Dutton IE, the owner of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Kevin Costner didn't return to the series for Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 after he and its creators failed to reach an agreement. And the closing chapter was riddled with controversy surrounding the decision. Still, there were some things that Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 got right. John's children both had full-circle endings, with Kayce selling the ranch to the Broken Rock tribe and moving back to East Camp with Tate, Beckett Merrill, and Monica, Kelsey Asville. Beth and Rip also had a noteworthy conclusion, moving on to a ranch west of Dillon, Montana. While Kayce and Beth's closing scenes in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14 would have been great epilogues, it's actually the start of something new. Still, the spin-offs will just look like Yellowstone Season 6 collectively. Yellowstone Season 6 could not have achieved Kevin Costner's 7-season Yellowstone plan without him, meaning Season 6 would have likely been about Kayce and Beth's separate lives. Now their independent shows can replace that. Ahead of the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, a casting deal broke the news that Riley and Hauser would reprise Beth and Rip in a Yellowstone offshoot, presumably in place of Season 6. Season 5 gave us a great idea of what it would be about, with Beth beginning to spin the wheels of her finance degree to figure out how to make ranching profitable. Beth can apply what she's learned to her husband's operation, but a spin-off for the couple would not have replaced Yellowstone Season 6 by itself. However, the news about Kayce's Yellowstone spin-off on CBS confirms screenwriter Taylor Sheridan will cover the complete spectrum of what comes next for John's kids. That would have been the basis for Yellowstone Season 6, so if viewers tune into Beth and Kayce's shows, respectively, then they will get the complete picture of life in Montana after John Dutton IE's death and the selling of the ranch to Thomas Rainwater, Gil Birmingham. After Costner's exit, the Yellowstone story would not have been able to continue with Beth and Kayce holding it down on the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, unable to pay the massive inheritance tax that caused them to sell it. Therefore, their stories would have been inherently separate in Yellowstone Season 6. Granted, Kayce Dutton could have joined Beth and Rip's offshoot. However, I believed Kayce was gearing up for something more significant than that in Yellowstone Season 5, and something even bigger than running the ranch to pass down to Tate. Especially after the way he stepped up in the final chapter, a Kayce-centric continuation is warranted. Kayce was outstanding in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 11, 353, using his position as livestock commissioner to command the medical examiner's office and get the investigation into his father's death reopened as a homicide. The CBS show will give Kayce his spotlight, and it will allow Beth and Rip to occupy ample space in their story, rather than trying to keep up with Beth's brother. Still, the siblings are close enough that they could cross over from time to time. Especially after the divisive reception to Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, it was time to close out the original Yellowstone series and maintain its best remaining pieces and offshoots. While Costner couldn't return to Yellowstone as John Dutton, Riley, Grimes, and Hauser were all ready and willing to keep their Yellowstone characters alive. Rather than try to build the show back up without its soul, John Dutton, it makes sense to pick up the pieces and start anew. Although it was enthralling to see all their stories play out simultaneously, the characters are robust enough to hold their own shows. I'm interested to see what the reception is to Kayce Dutton's CBS Yellowstone show, especially since it will be the first Yellowstone spinoff developed for broadcast TV. I've noticed that Yellowstone fans can be divided on which of John's kids they root for, and I wonder if that will translate to who tunes into which spinoff. Those who watch both Beth and Rip's Yellowstone spinoff and Kayce's offshoot will get a complete sense of how John Dutton's children are coping with his death and their evolving stories, painting the full picture of the presupposed Yellowstone Season 6. For fans who've been holding their breath for the next chapter of Yellowstone *, the horizon is looking brighter than a Montana sunrise. Even though Paramount officially ended the flagship series with Season 5, the Dutton family isn't riding off into the sunset just yet. With news swirling about a Beth and Rip spinoff and CBS greenlighting a series centered on Kayce Dutton, it's clear. Yellowstone Season 6 may not be official but it's basically happening, in spirit, scope, and storytelling. Let's start with Beth and Rip, arguably the soul and storm of Yellowstone *. Their romance, fiery, ferocious, and strangely poetic, has captivated fans from the very beginning. Now, reports suggest we'll see the couple in their own series, one that digs deeper into their layered past, their rugged love, and their future beyond the ranch. Will it follow them as they build a new legacy? Or will it rewind the clock, showing us the chaotic years that turned Beth into a corporate lioness and Rip into a man willing to kill or die for love? Early rumors indicate the spinoff will be split across timelines, blending flashbacks with present-day drama. Expect roughneck saloons, business boardrooms, and probably more than one scorched earth revenge plot. One source teased that the series will explore the darker corners of Yellowstone's moral code. Translation: Beth will likely light some metaphorical and literal fires, and Rip will keep dousing them with his signature brooding stoicism. And fans will eat it up, every single dusty, whiskey-soaked second. But while Beth and Rip are taking one route down the storytelling trail, Kayce Dutton is headed towards something entirely different, his own series, reportedly bound for CBS. This marks a shift in tone and platform, possibly giving Kayce a more procedural format, maybe even a Law and Order style twist on the Western narrative. After all, Kayce has been a rancher, a soldier, a livestock commissioner, and, above all, a man caught between two worlds: the blood ties of the Dutton dynasty and the spiritual pull of his wife Monica's native roots. A CBS series opens a new window for Kayce's character development. Will we see him embrace a leadership role in Montana politics or law enforcement? Or might he retreat entirely from the Dutton name and carve out a quieter, but no less dramatic, life with Monica and Tate? There's talk of cross-cultural tensions, land disputes, and spiritual journeys. In other words, it's still very Yellowstone *, just with a new badge and possibly a few less expletives. Together, these two series, Beth and Rip's wild ride and Kayce's introspective evolution, form a spiritual continuation of Season 6. They carry the DNA of the original show, the sweeping landscapes, the generational drama, and the age-old question of what it truly means to protect land, family, and legacy. What's also interesting is how these spin-offs signal a broader Yellowstone-verse expansion. Taylor Sheridan, the mind behind this entire saga, has become the modern-day Western whisperer. With *1883* and *1923* already proving there's an appetite for frontier storytelling, it's no surprise that CBS and Paramount are doubling down. Sheridan has hinted that these new projects will cross paths, so don't be shocked if Beth and Rip pay Kayce a visit, or if some Dutton cousin from 1923 appears as a ghost in Kayce's vision quest. Even the supporting characters might not be left in the dust. There's word that Jimmy and Emily could appear in Kayce's show, bridging the gap between the *6666 Texas Ranch storyline and the Montana legacy. Meanwhile, Chief Rainwater and Thomas Rainwater's world might get deeper exploration, especially as native sovereignty and land rights continue to drive key plots. And let's not forget the fans. What Yellowstone Season 6 might lack in title, it's making up for in content. The characters are alive and well. The themes, power, sacrifice, loyalty, revenge, are still churning like a herd in a thunderstorm. These spin-offs aren't just side quests. They're new branches of the same gnarly Dutton family tree. Sure, the name Season 6 might never appear on your streaming queue, but who cares? The essence is there. The grit. The heartbreak. The cattle drives and courtroom showdowns. And yes, the slow smoldering glances between Beth and Rip that could stop a charging bull in its tracks. At the end of the day, Yellowstone was never just about John Dutton barking threats from a horse or Jamie looking perpetually conflicted. It was about a world, a legacy, a way of life. That legacy now lives on, not in one single season, but across several series, all tethered to the same stormy sky. So saddle up, folks. Between Beth and Rip's firestorm of love and Kayce's path of honor, Yellowstone Season 6 is here. It just has a few new names, a couple new trails, and the same burning heart.